Would it be sensible to use the Young's modulus to describe compression of a vertical steel I-beam along its length? So if we're thinking about like what kind of situation might that be? I don't know, pretend this is a beam. I didn't draw that line very straight, but here's the beam. And maybe, I don't know, maybe I could draw a couple other lines here. It's supposed to be an I-beam. What does an I-beam actually look like, right? Well, I'm drawing it rather poorly here. I'm drawing those in there poorly enough because if you looked at it from above, what the I-beam should look like, it sort of has a cross-sectional shape like this, and it has some good engineering properties in the sense that it minimizes the amount of, you could say, weight or amount of material that's needed to construct something that's pretty resilient against twisting or bending because of the way this is shaped. But again, very, very efficient. But and there's different kinds of loads that we can put on them. But what I'm talking about here is just a straight compression type of load. So like if we're applying forces like this, like a force here and a force here along its length, and we're talking about how much does it compress as a result of that, yeah, that makes sense to use a Young's modulus for. That fits right into the model for a Young's modulus. But the second question here says, what about the compression of a nylon rope along its length, right? So if I have like a nylon rope here, it's like a thin-ish nylon rope, whatever, right? And if I imagine, okay, I'm going to try to compress it now. It makes sense maybe to stretch a nylon rope. We've looked at questions like this. What happens if we try to compress it? So if I apply two forces like this, right, what can we imagine is going to happen? Well, I think what's going to happen is the rope is going to kind of like, I don't know, scrunch up or something. So I tried to draw that here. Maybe I shouldn't have started this, but whatever. There it is. My rope has compressed and maybe magically gotten thicker right here. But this is really not the kind of compression that we imagine describing with a Young's modulus. So an important thing to understand is even though the Young's modulus is a characteristic of nylon as it also is for steel, you can't apply it in all situations. Like steel, you can apply it in a compression sense for an I-beam. Although a steel cable is going to have the same issue as the nylon rope, so you wouldn't really be able to apply it very well. And in most cases, the opposite, where you're kind of applying tensile stress to it, those usually work either way for any material and shape. So anyway, short answer though is yes and no.